Welcome to the Cauldron. This is a community, a space to share, inspire, and support. I'm your host, Annette Poacher, and each episode I welcome real, raw, and powerful conversations from everyday individuals with extraordinary experiences to the organisations lifting others up. This is a place where truth is spoken, healing is honoured, and resilience is celebrated. This is the Cauldron, where we sit with people who have walked through fire, found their strength, rebuilt, or simply kept going when life asked more of them. Here we acknowledge the organisations, leaders, and volunteers who are instrumental in their journey. Welcome to the Cauldron. My name is Annette Poacher. Wendy Smith is the General Manager of Meals on Wheels for the Moreton Bay region. Welcome, Wendy. I know how busy you are, so thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thanks, Annette. Appreciate your time to interview me. It's great.
You're more than welcome. Meals on Wheels is an iconic organisation that has been in operation for many years. And as I mentioned, your service area is the Moreton Bay region. Can you share with us what Meals on Wheels does for your community and how you personally found your way into this role?
I started back with Meals on Wheels nearly 14 years ago as a relief manager and was asked to look after the branch and then ended up becoming full manager of that service. And I found that summer services were struggling to get things going with volunteers. We had which was great, 80, 85-year-old volunteers running services that didn't know much about the computers and all the new systems. So we decided back about probably 8 years ago we might look at merging a couple of the services, mainly to help them out and be able to put on more clients and help more clients. So over the last few years, we've merged together Bribie Island, Burpengary, Caboolture. We've got a branch now out at Woodford. We have a branch at Sanford, Petrie as well. So we've put these services all together to help more of the wider community. And that allows us to serve more clients and help more people. So it's been a long, hard road, but, it was the best thing we could do because, now we have up to around probably 800 clients at the moment. So it's great.
That is a huge area that you cover. Is that 800 meals in total? Do they get more than one meal a week? How does that work?
Well, roughly we're doing around 3,000 meals per week out of 2 kitchens. This week we looked at our figures and we've done around 120,000 meals so far this year. So we've still got a lot to go. We're busy time over the next few weeks getting people ready for Christmas. So yeah, around 120,000 meals so far, and that's for all ages from your aged to disability services like your NDIS to under 65s that are, hardship and can't do meals. So yeah, we have a big range of people that we're supporting.
In terms of the people that need your support, is it primarily their limited financial resources that bring them to needing the service, or is it like a multifaceted situation?
It's a huge variety, Annette. It's we have clients that just maybe only want 1 or 2 meals a week because they've cooked their whole life and thought, well, let's get meals. We have clients that just cannot cook for themselves, so they go and try and get through the CHSP funding to get meals so that there could be clients with need pureed meals, chopped meals. We have a huge different variety of clients that we do feed straight from the hospital that they might ring and say, look, we're sending this client home, have illness and need, liquid meals, that sort of thing. That's where we come in and help that sort of client. Then we have disability that they just cannot cook for themselves. So we help those clients out as well. Huge variety. A lot just do not have the money. So they apply for packages, your home care packages, which are now called Support at Home, and they get funding to help support them. It's probably another question you will ask later. Where does the funding come from? But our clients, we find, do not have enough money to buy meals after their utilities and rent and things like that. So they come to us to try and help feed them. And that's where, we struggle trying to get them meals. It's very hard. So we have clients that we send a client liaison officer out to check on it. And they're finding clients have nothing in their fridge, at all. There's no food in there. So we try and do breakfast packs for them now and snack packs just to help them go. If they can't afford a meal, that's what we do.
You are an amazing, amazing person. They couldn't have anyone better running the show. I will touch on later on the funding because I know that we want to discuss. But first of all, can you walk me through the process from preparing the meals to delivery at someone's door, start to finish production line? I can imagine the logistics of managing delivery routes, timetables, and keeping food refrigerated. It would be a well oiled machine.
Look, it is a very well-oiled machine. My team in the kitchen, in the admin staff do an amazing job. It's never just one person, it's the whole team. Without the team working together to get out meals, they've got to cook meals. Like I said, we've only got 2 kitchens running now because of the state and the age of our older kitchens we've closed down, and we can't afford to have, 4 or 5 kitchens running anymore. So they start like 4 o'clock in the morning, between 4:30 in the morning. Their meals are so planned out. We have to have nutritional guidelines, so much in protein, so much in carbohydrate, everything like that has to be down. Every meal has to be weighed to make sure it's a nutritional meal for that client. They've got to be around 375 grams to 500 grams. You're doing 3,000 meals. It's a lot of.
We all know what a wonderful job Meals on Wheels do, but behind the scenes, to get to that point, there is a lot of moving parts. And now with the restrictions of making sure that there's, a certain percentages is protein and carbohydrates and all that. So you've been in this role for 14 years. You would have seen a lot of changes over that time.
A lot of changes.
And, we all know that at the moment we're facing this homeless crisis and the cost of living demand. Is it on the rise?
It is. It is on the rise. We have people knocking on our doors at our services, walking in saying, "Do you have any meals?" And like we even got broken into a kombucha branch. And the first thing they didn't even take, there was some laptops sitting there. They went to the freezer and that broke our hearts. It's like you just want to leave the door open and say, "Here you go." But, you can't. But they broke in and took meals out of the freezer. It's like, wow, it's very sad. And the phone calls from family members saying they don't live in the same state or I don't live near my mum and dad. I need to get meals to them. They're not eating properly. They're, dehydrated. Their nutrition has just gone downhill. We could feed so many more, but we are restricted to the amount of meals now the government tell us that we can feed. We're limited. So they say we're only allowed to do 115,000 meals per year for CHSP clients. So that's your government funded meals. They say, right, you're only allowed to feed 115. We have to say to some clients, you can only get 4 meals a week. You can't get 7 a week.
When did it become a financial decision over a human decision? So I want people to know what's really going on out there because we don't hear about this stuff. You do. And it's so important for the public to know what's really going on grassroots level when you have to turn away clients that need to a basic necessity, which is food, just absolutely blows my mind. And we're going to talk more about that later on in the interview. I wanted to go back to the human side of it because for many of your clients, it's not just a meal, it's a lifeline. And you support many people living alone, feeling isolated, or having little social interaction. How important is that friendly face at the door?
Look, the comments we get from family members and from the clients themselves, like you can sit there in tears every day. Like, thank you so much for seeing my parents. Like, thanks for checking in. So our volunteers get there from, between 11 and 1, knock on the door, and it's, thank you so much. There's your meal. They'll come in. They want to have a chat. We don't have time. We're on time restraints now because the meals have got to be finish runs have got to be within 2 hours from the second it leaves our service, so they can't spend a lot of time with the clients, sadly. But those clients, they use us as a "how's my mum going?" So volunteers go into a house and say, "Look, that client's looking really unwell." They ring our branch coordinators and say, "Mrs. Smith is not looking very well at all. Can you bring someone?" We'll ring the family and say, "Look, mum's not looking real well. Can you, do something about it?" And it's always, "My God, thank you so much. We wouldn't have known." Okay, this morning, I just read one of our volunteers delivered a meal a while ago, about an hour ago, and the gentleman was on the ground, had a fall, and was lying on the ground for an hour knowing, well, the volunteers will come, will drop off my meal, they'll be able to help me get up. So my volunteers rang in and went, "We need to call an ambulance." He's like, "No, no, no, don't." He didn't want an ambulance. He just wanted some help. And it was like, "No, we got to get an ambulance to you." So we rang the daughter and she was stressing because she lives on the Gold Coast. And so, an ambulance was called. They waited with the client, the gentleman, got an ambulance. They helped him up because, as you know, you can't lift him. Helped him up. He'd cut his arm, fixed him up. He was fine. So he was lying, waiting, knowing that we were going to turn up. And she said, well, if we hadn't turned up, she wasn't getting there till Saturday. They wait for us to get there. We've had so many clients that just love to see the visit. And we are sometimes the only people they see all week. Some don't have family members, so they don't have anyone. Some can't afford to get care packages. They don't even know that they can get care. So we've got to sort of go in and say, look, you can get a package to help you look after you. Oh, can I? You can.
Thinking to myself, meals nourish the body, but those few minutes of connection nourish the spirit and bring hope. I know that you run the show and you do an amazing job, but your volunteers, honestly, I can't say enough about the people that give up their time. And I know that you feel the same day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out, that have been doing this for such a long time.
Yeah, 48 our longest has been volunteering with us. So that's a lot of volunteering. But, our clients, they should be getting more care. There should be more for them. Like, we have got some clients at the moment, and sadly, and this is honest truth, like, we have clients that are sharing a meal. The husband and wife, they get a meal, a soup, a dessert. That's in their package. They share it a day. We have some clients that get one meal a day, and they'll have half today and half tomorrow because that's all they can afford. So, it's breaks your heart, and the volunteers come back going, "Why can't we give them more? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that?" We can't, without funding.
You and I have talked off the record about this, and
Yes.
I know that it's something that we really need to discuss. So let's move into funding and what are you facing at the moment?
Okay, so I've been down to Parliament in Canberra with this saying there isn't enough funding. So as of October last year, for 14 years, we've been able to bring the federal government and say, "Hey, look, we've fed so many people this month. We need extra funding." Or, over a few months, we've really gone over our numbers. And it's always been, all right, there's ad hoc funding, they call it. There's an extra $100,000 to last you, to your quotas up. So last year our numbers was 115,000. We did 124,000 meals. So we were told to stop. We would take the off the portal where clients log on and say, they want to get meals. We'd like to get Meals on Wheels. We were told we were not allowed to feed any more clients. We had to cut back. We had to put clients on a waiting list. So in March, we just kept it going. And yes, it put us into debt, a lot of debt. But our rule in our own governance, our own board were like, how can you say no? How can you tell someone, sorry, you can now only have 3 meals, not 7?
I would have done exactly the same thing because there is no way that I would be able to say no to someone that isn't getting the basic essentials of life, food and
Yeah.
shelter.
Well, I lost 3 staff that could not deal with um, saying no to clients. Sorry, when they ring up, "Hey, my mum's coming out of hospital tomorrow. She needs special meals." Sorry, we can't. We get direct from the hospital. And I had a big CEO from Caboolture Hospital ring me going, "Wendy, what are you doing? Why are you saying no to clients?" I said, "Because we have no more funding left. We have overdone and we've put ourselves into debt." And, the board, we had to sit down and go, what do we do? And that's when I went to Canberra and I've been radio and like radio stations and all the different governments and everything, and there's nothing they've been able to do. So come March, they said, well, that's it. By April, we had over 340 clients on a wait list. So, we had to say to clients, sorry, we can put you on a wait list, but, or you have to pay the full fee, which is around $15, $16 a meal, where they pay only They could pay between $4 and $8 for a meal normally. But we had to say, look, if you want a meal from us, you have to pay $15, $16. Well, where's someone going to get that for 7 days a week? They're not.
The whole point of them going to you in the first place is because they're struggling for one reason or another. It doesn't matter which way you twist this, inside out or upside down. We have a duty of care to look
Yes.
after our vulnerable members in our community.
Yes. Yes.
What do we need to do? Do we need to look for private funding to do this? Do we move away from the government and say, you know what, forget them because it's just never going to change? And do we start to try and source more private funding to top you guys up?
Private funding would be fantastic, but, we go for grants put it this way, I've done 51 grants in about 5 months, and all I've got back is 3, for $5,000 for volunteer fuel. So last year cost us, just our Moreton Bay region, our services, $82,000 in volunteer fuel. We can't get any of that from anyone. We can't get it from government. They do not give the volunteer fuel money at all. So we have to find that. That's why we do catering. We do funerals. We do council functions. They, do catering now. We do barbecues. We have a recycling thing. They get $7 a run. Some of these runs go for 2 hours. That doesn't cover them, but they still keep coming back and accept their $7 a run. And a lot of them don't even accept that. So they know how much we're struggling. They say, no, put that back into meals. If that feeds one more client an extra meal, they're happy.
And what worries me about that situation is it really isn't their responsibility. The fact that they give up their time should be enough. If you had a way to cover that 80 odd K a year for fuel, then that would free up that money to put into feeding more people.
More meals. Yes, totally. Yep.
Okay.
If we had some I can't even say the word.
Philanthropist? It's a hard word.
Here's $100,000. Here's $60,000. That is going to feed a lot of clients and save us on, volunteer fuel money. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to pay more. I'd love to pay more, but we can't,
And look, the thing is, Wendy, that's not a big amount of money.
When you look at, the sort of the government, get me into trouble, but I heard on a report the other day that there was $18 million put towards plants for the Olympic Games.
Come on. Come on now.
You're letting clients sit on a waiting list and you're paying out millions of dollars for plants for an Olympic Games. It's get your priorities right. And, they're trying this new program, which is called Support at Home. Well, I'm sorry, but it is a total fail. And if anyone looks up Support at Home and the new government guidelines and regulations, they will see nothing but this is a disaster. Clients that used to get home care packages, which they call HCP, they've stopped meals. They can't afford now to get meals on their home care package if they want to get transport to the doctors, or they want to get their toilets cleaned, or their, bathrooms and any work done. Well, meals is the first thing to go, because meals on the list of government funding is down near the lowest. They have all these categories, and meals is very under transport, under home maintenance. So we are the least funded for a client. So this is where they haven't got their priorities. They are not looking. I would love anyone to come, any of these politicians to come and sit on our phones and listen to my poor staff have to say, sorry, we can't feed you.
And why the hell haven't they? I mean, really, we put these people in a position of power. And I was talking to someone the other day that I'll be doing an interview with in the future. She's an amazing young woman, and I just love talking to her. She reminds me of a younger version of you, actually. And she has come across the same thing. And the legislation in terms of restrictions, where we actually do have local politicians who want to help, but there's legislation that actually restricts them from helping.
Yes.
If we don't talk about it, how are we ever going to know that this is really going on? Because it's not in the news. No one's going to go on the news and say, well, told Wendy Smith at Moreton Bay that she can only feed X amount of people. No one's ever going to hear about that unless we get out there and talk about it.
And again, I am not allowed to mention, because I'm not allowed to say that I'm supporting one over the other. So that's fine. But there are some amazing politicians in our Moreton Bay area, but there's some that don't even give us the time of day. They'll come, walk in, get a photo and leave. And it's like, hang on, wait a minute. You just come in and got photos with us saying how much you support Meals on Wheels, but do they even come in and go and deliver a meal? No. Do they see the living conditions? It's disgusting what they're allowed to live in. And when we report it, it's like, well, it's not our problem. And it's like, well, whose problem is it? Like, we got war vets. That's another fight I'm fighting at the moment. They don't even get meals supported. Like, we are supporting some war vets that were living on a boat over on Bribey Island because they don't even have a home. They don't get food. And we were delivering meals to them in the wrecks from a few years ago on Bribey. And it's like, hang on, where's their support? But anyway, that's another fight for another day. But yeah,
It's absolutely appalling, and I can hear the frustration in your voice, and I can understand why, because I would be exactly the same.
it's emotional. It just wrecks you. You know, you just sort of think, I'm at the stage at the moment. It's like, well, I feel like I've done nothing to help because, this last few years have just got harder and harder. And it's like, what else can we do? Like, who do we go to for this fight? And I go to Parliament House. I've been, yeah, lots of places, and it just seems to be, get over it. Here she comes again.
That's what I was saying before, that I think we need to look outside of that arena to get some assistance. And I also mentioned that the amount of money that we're talking, it's not huge. We're not talking millions of dollars. We're talking a relatively small amount of money. And even for the government to kick that in, really, when you tell me about plants for the Olympics, I just sit here and shake my head. I think that these kind of conversations that we're having are necessary, and hopefully that they will be helpful and will reach people that will then also shake their heads and go, this is not okay. I was going to say before that in my own journey, talking about people that come in and take photos, or, will say to you, we know it's terrible. Unfortunately, Wendy, one of the biggest things that I've learned is if it doesn't affect people directly, then there's a lot of people who don't care. Now, there's a lot of people that do, and your volunteers, obviously, but people that have never had to be homeless, people that have no money to buy food, that have not been able to go and buy themselves some new underwear, people that have not been able to buy themselves a new pair of shoes to wear. Unless you have lived it, there's a lot of people out there that just don't understand it because they haven't been through it. It's not a good enough excuse though, because you can educate yourself. You can go and visit these places and, like you said, sit on the phone and listen to these people, the desperation in their voice, and listen to their stories and what they've had to go through just to survive. And I've said it over and over and over again that Australia is a very rich country. If we can throw millions of dollars at plants, then I'm sorry, we can surely come up with 80 grand to feed people in our community that are not getting enough nourishment and not enough food.
We've paid electricity for a couple of clients so far this year. We've gone out to some, great community businesses that said, look, how can we help? I've got $500. Well, actually, that's going to pay for two of our clients electricity, get them. They're like, what? You got clients with no electricity? Yeah. We have clients that are elderly, and I am not being disrespectful, that do not get onto the internet, do not know how to apply for assistance from the government because everything is online.
It's red tape.
It's red tape. And it's like, we have these people say, look, how can you help? Well, they've got to get online. Well, hang on, we've got to deliver meals. I know we're more than just a meal. That's our logo. We are. We go with that, that communication for them and say, well, look, I've sent my client liaison team out and go, look, can you go and get this client on My Aged Care? Because they don't even have a computer. They don't even have a mobile phone. Okay, like the government are like, no, they've got to log on. And you say to doctors, we go into our doctors' surgeries and say, hey, why are you not putting clients onto My Aged Care? And they're like, too much red tape, too much paperwork for us to do that. Well, you're the only one they see besides us, so it's your job. So not even the doctors want to go ahead with it because it's so much work for them to do when it takes probably 30 minutes to sit and get someone that has no help at home, sits in their house, that could be getting meals, could be getting someone come in, could be getting community social people coming in for them. And it breaks your heart just not getting heard. That's what breaks my heart. And
I can hear the frustration in your voice, and as I said earlier, I can understand it because I'm frustrated, and I don't work for Meals on Wheels. But I was just going to say to you as well, and I said this when I was interviewing Michael Cox from Eats for the Streets. I know that you know Michael.
Yes, we worked together. We fed 500 people last Christmas, all the homeless people, and that was amazing. We got people to put towards meals and everything, and they had the best day with Michael, and to see their faces.
He is an amazing guy, and I love talking to him because he's full of great ideas and he's very passionate about what he does. But when I spoke to him, I said the same thing that, it starts with the meal, which is obviously where it does with you guys as well. But there's so much more expected from you outside of that that really isn't your responsibility, but it's landed in your lap because nobody else wants to do it.
No one else. Yep.
You can't turn your back away and say, "Oh well, here's your meal. That's it. I'm walking away from this," because I know that you and your team would never do that. And here's the thing with that is that governments go, "Oh well, we know that they're going to do it, so we can just lob it in their lap and we can walk away from it because we know that they're very caring and kind and empathetic people, so they're going to step up and do it anyway." The problem is that that's also taking up your resources to try and pick up the slack where it shouldn't be, because you go there to deliver a meal, then you realize, okay, there's another issue here and there's another issue. And then you
Yep.
go looking for different avenues to try and help them, which, like I said, is taking up more time.
We'll ring a church group and say, "Hey, look, this client just needs someone to come and sit and talk to them." Great. Okay, Wendy. If we were given social support funding, which is just a extra funding so we can send a volunteer out. So, we've got about 60 clients out of our group that just don't have anyone. So we're sort of like we have some volunteers who will just go and have a coffee with the client on another day. We've had clients that'll just go and, oh, look, they just need the yard done. I found out the other day that 3 of our volunteers went and did a full cleanup on a guy's front yard because he couldn't even get to his letterbox. And I'm like, my God, and the things that the government just don't help with. And that's where we need the support from the government. Like, if they stopped and realized, if they fed the clients more, gave them more meals, more funding, gave us more funding, then the amount that go into hospitals underfed and everything that need more meals, it would be a lot of people out of their hospital system and in their own homes because they're actually getting a good feed.
We shouldn't even be having this conversation, but we are. And I'm grateful that you have given me so much of your time. Before we wrap things up, I just wanted to talk to you about this other project that you were telling me about the other day when we were talking. I think you mentioned that it was like a hall or some sort of meeting area. Can you tell me about that?
Well, for 6 years, that's what I've been trying to merging these services, and my plan was a hub kitchen, a hub service in the Moreton Bay area. And what our my dream, my goal before I retire in a couple of years, because I can't keep dealing with all this, that breaks my heart, is to get a kitchen. And that is going to be my task for the next, year. We've gone to council. They are helping us. They've been amazing. The mayor with, trying to get us some land to build. So the plan will be, instead of having, which we do have, is the 2 kitchens, 5 services, and we're paying money at all these to run all these kitchens. You have to have quality, um, quality chefs and everything like that, which is a very expensive thing. So our plan is to have a hub kitchen and have a community centre there as well. So we can go and pick up our clients, bring them down, have their lunch there. We tried it once and had over 80 clients say, "We'll come." And we just did a morning tea, and it was something that was absolutely amazing to see these people that hadn't left their home for nearly a month or 6 weeks to be able to go somewhere and have a cup of tea or a lunch. So that is my goal. We have put it out to, oh my gosh, everybody in the community I have annoyed. We need funding to get this kitchen up and going. We're putting it into um, government, federal, state, local. It just cost me $30,000 to get a plan to get this going. Legal to say, this is the plan. This is what we want to do. To have it written professionally and everything. $30,000 that we've had to save up to get this document done to say, we need this. If anyone wants it, I have it here online that I can send out. And it's a document that says how much it is needed in this community to have a hub centre that we can have people come down. We will only have one kitchen running the whole community. And it's going to be big and bulky. We've got other services that buy in frozen meals from interstate, and we will be able to make meals from this kitchen. Everyone thinks it's the best idea. It's fantastic.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, but we can't even get them to look at us. Like $3-4 million would give us a whole complex, and be able to help oh, the meals that we could supply in a, kitchen, because our expenses would be so much less than what they are now running 5 separate services. So that's the goal.
$3 or $4 million. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not. It really is a drop in the ocean for people that have that sort of money available to them. In conclusion, thank you so much, Wendy, for joining me today. My heart goes out to you and all of your volunteers. I can't imagine the frustration and the tears and the sadness that comes along with all those stories that you're hearing from people out in the community that are just doing it tough. And everyone that I've spoken to has told me the same thing. It's getting harder. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. Things are declining. There's more and more people. That gap again that I talked about, it's getting wider. And
We need other community groups to get together and go, well, hey, I've got a couple 100,000. Let's all join in and use the same building, because when you look at the local Moreton Bay, there's no actual community centre that they can come into and, sit down and have a chat to us and have a meal and, things like that. And it's just going to be, it would be amazing. And other groups, like if I need to have a meeting, I don't have a meeting space in my 5 services. So we have to hire a hall in the Moreton Bay. So, that might cost me $100 to hire a hall. I might have 3 meetings with quite a few different groups and teams. It costs us money just to have meetings, or we got to go and sit at a club or something. It's so unprofessional, but it's just, if people realize any amount would help us get this going, and it would be a total community centre.
I find it extraordinary that this such a large area that you're covering doesn't have some sort of community hall or, like you said, hub. And all it tells me is that funding is going in directions like plants. And that's really annoyed me today. You telling me that we're spending millions of dollars on plants, grinding my gears. So I'm going to go and pull all the plants out and sell them on marketplaces.
Hey, we tried that. We sell plants as well, just saying.
Perfect. All right, I've got to wrap it up.
All right.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really would like to talk to you again sometime down the track and reconnect with you. I mean, we will talk off the record, but to see, if you got it going and if we've been able to assist you in any way, because I would love to be a part of that. So keep us in the loop of what's going on.
Thank you so much, Annette. It's been amazing talking to you. And hopefully, it gets out there to the people and the government and everybody else to say we really need, otherwise there will be no Meals on Wheels. I reckon 2 years, 3 years now. We've been going over 50 years. And to see Meals on Wheels go down the drain is heartbreaking.
That would be a massive loss for Australia and for the communities that are serviced by you guys. So let's hope that we can stop that from happening and get someone to listen to what you need.
Appreciate you very much, and thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. You've been listening to The Cauldron. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. Please follow and share our social media pages for more episodes. Until next time, be kind, be caring, be connected.